Welcome to yourself to this time for practice with a few deep breaths in and out of the nose. From the simple start, add just our head nod, chin down to the chest, and then rock from side to side, right ear to right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder, back and forth. Keep the right ear to the right shoulder and walk the left fingertips out. Add the right hand on top of the left ear for a little bit of extension out to the side. As you bring the hands back to the thighs, nod chin to the chest and left ear to left shoulder. Same add-ons, fingertips out to the side, left hand on top of the right ear. Always the reminder, we're not putting pressure down here, we're trying to lengthen out. Very gentle and easy. Take the hands back to the thighs, chin back down to the chest, and then both hands behind the head. This is always my favorite one. It's a push of the head up and back into the hands to get a nice stretch from the top to the bottom of the spine, and also to strengthen and pull in, stabilize front side of the body. As you release the hands, lift the head, open the eyes. We're just swinging the arms a little bit up and down. Work out through the lats and the shoulders here. Up and down a couple of times. Good. And we're moving over to all fours. Take your time. Come on over to all fours. Place the hands under the shoulders. Knees under the line of the hips. Do cow pose. Let the belly fall down. Lift the tailbone. Pull the chest through. Look up. Maybe a little bit of a wag from side to side, but keep with just cow. And then change to cat pose. Press down through the hands, knees. Big full arch and round to the back. Let the head drop down. As you put a lot of pressure down through the hands and knees, a sense of rebounding back up out of the mat. Similarly here, you can wiggle a little bit with it. I like to pull on the shoulders one at a time, side to side, to get a little emphasis. And then change to downward facing dog. Tuck the toes, lift the legs. Explore a little bit of movement in down dog, pedal out the feet. Shift one leg to the other. Let everything awaken. And now find some stillness in downward facing dog and stay there for several rounds of your breath. Still breathing in and out of the nose. Walk your hands backwards to your feet so that we can do a ragdoll pose at the end of our sticky mat. So keep the upper body heavy and hanging over the legs. Fingertips can either stay on the ground or hold on to your elbows and add the little bit of a sway side to side. The thought, though, is to release and be as heavy as we can in this pose. Let the space between each vertebrae of the spine expand to its longest length. And then ever so slowly roll up to standing, vertebrae by vertebrae, stack. Roll the shoulders up and back a couple of times as you stand, and then forward and down as well. And take your time to walk up to the very front end of your yoga mat. Inhale, lift both arms up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to plank position, top of our push-up. Hold your plank, press more weight into your thumb, your first finger, than the rest of the hand. Squeeze your glutes, lengthen your tailbone, tone the abdomen. Look a little forward. Stay with it. Anytime during plank pose, you could adjust it to be on the toes or on the knees. We could also be on the hands or on the forearms. You're here for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lie flat down onto your mat. Reach your arms back behind you. Shalabhasana. Locust pose. Lift everything up. Lower it down, press back to child's pose. Get a posing stretch through the spine here from the strengthening of locust. And then walk the hands over to the right side to enjoy that long reach. Side body stretch. Okay, walk it back to the center. I want to try this combination today. Now take the left hand, swing it under the right hand, so you get a second twist on this side. Your twisted child's pose. Try to sit the hips heavier back towards the heels, though they certainly don't need to touch. And then release the left arm and walk both hands over to the left side. Rights and lefts, not so important, just making sure you're on the second side now. And then walk the hands back to the middle. And again, that twisted child's pose. So for me, it's right arm under the left. Make sure it's your second side. Nicely done. Untwist. Come back up to all fours. And take the right leg up and back in line with the spine. And the left arm out in front, so opposite arm and leg. Give me 5 pulses here. Lift the arm and leg just a tiny bit higher, 5 times. And then keep the right leg lifted and switch the hands, same arm and leg. And today I do want us to open all the way up to the side. So I kind of kick the left foot back off of the mat to help balance and open all the way up to the side. You can imagine this is very similar to our half moon shape when we're standing on our leg instead of the knee. And then try to square it back down to the mat. And that's a big part of this posture, is trying to hold the balance as you look back down towards the mat. And finally, lower the arm, lower the leg. Let's give it a go on the second side. It's opposite arm and leg first. So left leg up, right arm out in front. And you add those 5 little beats up, 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 and up. And then switch hands. Right hand down. Kick the right foot kind of back out to the side so that as you lift up, you can open the torso to the side. Look to the side or even up towards the sky if you'd like. And then we're going back to the closed hip variation. Slow and steady. Try to turn left hip down, left shoulder back down towards the mat. Doing our best. And then all fours and into downward facing dog. Come forward to plank pose. You get to choose now, yogis. You hold top of the plank or add in the tricep push-ups here. Do about 5 toes or knees. If you're going quicker, maybe you get in a couple more. Everyone do one more. And then lie flat down, back onto the belly. Locust, hands back, palms up, lift. And exhale. Lower it down, press back to that child's pose. This time just hang out in child's pose for a few breaths. And change to downward facing dog. Look forward to the front of the mat. Walk, step, jump up to the top. Half lift here, extend the spine, whether hands come all the way to the thighs or stay lower is up to you. Fold over. Stand all the way up, reach the arms to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. 2 rounds of good old sun salutation A. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back to plank and control as you lower down to the mat. Peel the chest up for cobra. Press down through the hands and feet. Squeeze in the glutes. Downward facing dog. Lift the hips up and back. Breathe here. Look in between the hands. Step or jump to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand, reach up to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. One more time, repeat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank, lower it down. Cobra. Downward facing dog. Next, inhale, gaze forward, step or jump forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Stand, reach all the way to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Take it in. Reach the arms back up. Push the palms together so that you're standing as tall as you can with palms together. And lean to one side. Push the hips to the opposing side. And then bring it all back into the center and lean to the second side. Big squeeze in the glutes, nice firm press down through the feet so that everything else can rise up stronger. A little more length. Come back to the middle. Utkatasana, separate your arms, bend your knees, sit into the thighs. Power pose. Drop the arms down to shoulder height, sit lower in the legs now. Keep doing that, but interlace the hands behind your back. Try to squeeze the palms together, then straighten the arms and reach the arms up towards the sky, even over the head. Round the back like cat pose to try to push your head more on the knees or thighs rather than the shins. If you're like me, the hands are going to fall apart. That's okay. Still keep them up. And then everyone stand up, swing the arms to the sky, palms together again. One more time, lean to your first side. Come back across your center. So these are pretty quick. Lean to the second side. Come back across your center, Utkatasana. Arms separate, shoulder distance apart. And then hands to shoulder height. Sit lower. Try the interlace of the hands, maybe second finger in front this time. And the shoulders stretch. Arms up to the sky. Ooh, that's always so hard for me. Okay, stand up, arms back up. Take your gaze straight ahead of you. Right foot into tree pose. So foot can go along the calf or along the inner thigh. Your tree pose. Point the knee out to the side, the toes straight down to the floor. From tree pose, go right into warrior three. So we're going to point the knee forward, hinge and kick back. Bend on the standing leg to make that possible. Like you're squaring the hips down as we did in all fours with the opposite arm and leg. Now can you drop your left fingertips all the way down to the floor, giving you a little bit more to balance on, and open out to the side like we did same arm and leg from all fours. And I mentioned it was a lot like half moon pose. We're trying to find it here. Get in all that balance work. 2 hands, 2 feet can come all the way down to your mat. And then hands to the waist, point the elbows up to the sky and stand up. Lift both arms high. Try it on your second leg. Start with tree pose. Likely your left leg, but make sure it's your second side. Push the foot into the leg, leg into the foot. Steady the breath. In these apparent balance postures, we're looking for the stabilization. Okay, lift the left knee up and into your chest, and then kick it back as you hinge forward for warrior three. Think opposite arm and leg work that we did from all fours. If you fall off balance, I just did, no big deal. You find your way back to it. And then drop same arm as the standing leg down so that you can open the hips to the side in your half moon variation, likely with a bent standing leg. Though it doesn't have to be. Maybe you've got more range there. 2 hands, 2 feet, bring them down to the mat. Standing forward fold, just as you are, all 10 fingertips stay on the floor, and lift the legs as straight as possible through the back side. I always imagine this lever like slowly, slowly, slowly turning to straighten out the back of the legs a bit more. From here, rebend the knees, take the hands back to the waist, squeeze the elbows up towards the sky, push down through your feet and come up to standing. Nicely done. We've done our long standing balance work of the day. Lift the arms up, a little praise for that. And then exhale, forward fold. Let's get back into more of a movement with the breath. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat down to the yoga mat. Pick the chest up for cobra. And go to downward facing dog. Pause here. Lift the right leg up into the air, 3-legged dog. Pull the knee into the chest, hover forward in plank. Can you lift the right knee out towards the side, sort of towards your right shoulder, and then swing underneath towards your left elbow? Try to do that one more time. Up and out to the side, and then underneath to the left. Step on your right foot towards the left side is what I mean. And then it's like we're doing little push-ups. Little bend in the elbows and straighten. Little bend and straighten. With that little bend, can you make your right knee touch your left elbow? Straighten, try it one more time. Little bend and straighten. Change the right foot into your lunge. Low lunge. Come up to a high lunge, lift the torso, reach the arms up to the sky. Now with the back knee lifted or down for more stability, we are adding a twist in the upper body now. We twisted with the legs just then. Now we're trying to twist with the arms and upper body. Look to your right and then come back to center. Look to your right, which means left arm forward, right arm back, and then come back to center and do it one more time. Look to your right and come back to center. Lower the hands down. This is kind of the power section, if you will. So I've got one more ask for you. Bring the hands up to your waist. Power everything to stand on your right leg and lift your left leg up and tap it down. Lift it up and tap it down. Lift up, tap down. Do it one more time. Lift up, tap down. 2 feet together. Woo, that's a killer. I can't even go on. Power pose, Utkatasana. 2 feet together, Utkatasana at the top of your mat. And then stand all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. All that fun on the second side. Inhale, half lift. Step back, downward facing dog. Pause here. Okay, left leg up into the air, 3-legged dog. Here we go. Knee to chest, hover forward. Ready? Left knee up and out to the side, and then twist underneath you towards the right elbow, up and out to the side, and then underneath you. Step on the left foot. It's out underneath the right arm. And we've got 4 of those little push-ups, like a little bend, trying to make your right elbow tap to the left knee, little bend, and straighten. 2 more times, little bend, and straighten, little bend, and straighten. Change to a regular low lunge. Pick up the left foot, step it back to the center. And we bring our torso upright. Again, the back knee could go down to more firmly stabilize this position. The wobbly balance work, if it's safe for you, is a big piece of the practice. So if you can keep it up, do. All right, look over your left side. Left arm goes back, right arm forward. Both hands to the center. Ooh, I'm so wobbly. Okay, back to the twist. And upright. And back to the twist. And center. Lower the hands down for a moment. Catch a breath. And then like that warrior 3, we're going to put all of the weight into the left leg. Arms go out or stay at the waist to lift the right leg up and down 4 times. Try to get in a big range of motion here. All the way up towards the line of the hip, all the way down to the tap of the floor. 4 times. Big, strong stabilization on that standing leg, outer hip. 2 feet together, Utkatasana. Stand it all the way up. Exhale, forward fold. Ooh, good job. Inhale, half lift. Step back to plank. Let's move through the vinyasa flow. Lower down to the mat. Pick up the chest for cobra. Stay in down dog. From here, go back, knee to the chest, right knee up and into the chest, hover forward into plank. Shoot the leg out underneath you towards the left side. This time, lay the hips all the way down, right side down to the mat, so your legs are like an L shape. Here in fallen sage, it's the twist of the torso to look down towards the mat, and you can lower the chest to the mat, forehead to the mat. And then snap the picture in your mind of you hovering your right outer thigh onto that left upper arm bone with your legs in this position. See it? Let's try it. Lift the torso, lift the hips, readjust in the legs. And this, like I bend both knees and just kind of play in the adjustment of the hands, the legs, everything's bent and crunched up at first to try to get the right outer thigh to touch my left upper arm bone. And then do the best you can to straighten out through 1 or 2 legs. And as you straighten them out, try to lift them up off of the ground, keeping that connection. Elbow and outer thigh. As you come out of the pose, stretch back to downward facing dog. And we all can do variations on this pose. Don't give up on it. Some of the variations include taking a steady watch, figuring out where the limbs might go for the next time that you practice. Left knee up and into the chest. Shoot the leg under you towards the left side. Lay both hips down. Another variation of the pose is working longer here in Fallen Sage. I always try to teach progressively, so there's something there for all of us to work on. Great IT band stretch. Be feeling the outer hip here of that forward leg. Okay, snapshot the picture of the arm balance. Imagine your left thigh resting on your right elbow, holding you secure there. Ideally, the left elbow is out in space, not attached or hanging on the body. And I do say ideally, meaning sometimes the rest against the body is okay. Okay, come up. Try the arm balance. Try some form. Is it more Fallen Sage? Is it kind of watching how others are getting into it for a moment so that it informs you for next time? Is it doing some little bits of the work? All right, I see you all working. Nicely done. Walk it back out to downward facing dog. Walk the hands back to your feet so we get to do our ragdoll position again. And then work it back up to standing. Roll through. Lift the arms to the sky. Bring the palms together, center of the chest. Pause there for another few moments. You could, of course, just drop the hands down by the side if that feels best for you. Okay, I just want you to turn to a long edge of your mat and take a wide stance. Point your toes straight ahead, sort of feet parallel to each other and to the short sides of your yoga mat. Hands to the waist, fold the torso over and down for a wide-legged forward fold with no hands. Prasarita Padottanasana. Actively engage your inner thighs to try to squeeze in towards each other. But at the same time, you're trying to press your feet down and away from one another. And then you can drop the hands down, maybe to the ankles today, maybe underneath you, supporting right by the head. Push a little more weight forward into the toes always, so that we can have a good, strong, safe stretch leading up the back of the legs. And then we're changing this to triangle pose. Walk your hands out, lengthen the spine, and turn your right foot out towards, so that your toes face the short side of your mat. Walk both hands over there. These ground up positions, so we're getting the foundation in both feet and in the right hand. Today, why not? Let's swing the right hand to the pinky toe side of the foot, so the outside of the leg. Left hand to your waistline. Even if it means bending your right knee, I want you to keep your right fingertips all the way on the ground here and make both legs as straight as they'll go. And then with the left hand at the left hip, slowly rotate it more up and out to the side, thinking all the way back to how we worked closed and open hip variations from the very beginning there. Lift the left hand up to the sky. Look up if that feels all right for you. Lower the left hand back to the hip. Look down. Let the left hip drop more down towards the ground and walk the hands like around the center. Turn the right toes straight ahead. Walk the hands over to the left as you turn the left toes out to face the short side of the mat. And again here, we're going to take the left hand all the way to the outside of the foot today. Sometimes we do triangle pose on the inside. Today we're doing it hand on the outside. Again, I'm going to bend the left knee so that I know I can keep the left fingertips down. Take the right hand to the hip. With those two things secure, make your left leg as straight as it'll go. The more that I straighten the left leg, the more my right hip actually wants to open and turn to the side. Allow that to happen. It's a scoop of the tailbone down towards the floor. Keep sending your head long out towards your big toe, and then right arm up to the sky. And if it feels all right to you, look up. Breathe here. And then change again. Lower the right hand. Let the hip turn down. Rebend the left knee. Walk the hands back around to your center. Turn the feet parallel to one another again. And back into that deeper fold. Head towards the mat. Hands supported on the mat or hold the ankles. And to get out of this pose, we're actually just going to sit down. So support yourself somewhat on the hands so that you can just find a seat. All right, stretch your legs straight out. Make an L shape here, sitting. Arms overhead. Maybe even exaggerate. Palms together, lift, lift, lift. And keeping a lot of length through the spine, hinge forward. Often I talk about starting at a 90-degree angle and just closing it off, but trying to keep the long lines. And then letting the arms float down to the mat. Hold onto your legs or your feet. And then instead of the straight line of the spine, more of an even curved rounding of the spine, like a rainbow. A long, full curve, no breaks. As the body literally turns in, let that be the offering of the cool down. Less striving, less doing, just being now. From that seated forward fold, take your time to lie down onto your mat. So kind of come up, readjust so that you're lying down. Pull just your right knee into your chest. Give it a good squeeze. And switch the legs, so a little abdominal contraction there as you switch to hold left knee in. And then just one more time each side, switch and hold the right. Switch and hold the left. Pull both knees back into the center. Take the hands out to a T shape. Lower both knees to the right side in a supine twist. Feel free to add any flare to that twist, extending a top leg, crossing the legs, whatever might feel nice to you. And then we'll change. Take the knees across the center on over to the second side. And knees back across the center. As always, yogis, this is your time to unwind, add in any last posture movement that you'd prefer at this moment, including going right to Shavasana. From the unwinding, from the last bits of pose or movement, find a form of stillness, whether that's lying down on your back, on your side, seated, propped against a wall. Release and relax. One of my teachers, Darren Rhodes, always says we shape shift to state shift. Succinct reason why we move our bodies in these poses. You've shifted all of the shapes. Lie back in stillness to continue that formation in the mind. You may, of course, stay in your Shavasana for a longer period of time. For those that are ready to close with me, come on back to a seated position. Let's bring palms together as an offering of thanks and gratitude to ourselves, to each other. And this practice and the sound that helps us move that into our day is the sound of Om. Sing along with me. Listen. Tune it out. Empty out your breath. Take a deep breath in. Namaste.